A memorable and important week in Duval County. The 5 law enforcement veterans vying for votes in this month's special election for sheriff. They met in a live debate, and we're looking at important moments for each candidate. We're also trying to understand the proposal to raise property taxes so the school district can raise salaries. Those topics and more this week in Jacksonville. Thanks for joining us today. A $1 million increase. That's what Duval County Public Schools wants voters to consider this month. Joining us right now, Darnell Smith, the Northeast Florida Market President at Florida Blue. And Darnell, you're joining us today, part of this group which is called $1 million for teacher salaries. Now, we've heard from Dr. Diana Green, the superintendent, in the last several weeks. Why don't you explain what's on the ballot, and then we'll talk about the why it's on the ballot.
Well, what's on the ballot, quite frankly, is a crisis that we absolutely must take care of. It's an opportunity for us to be able to provide a $1 million increase in order for us to be able to retain experienced teachers. We're finding that many of the experienced teachers are looking for other opportunities. They're actually leaving their profession. And so if we can be able to have this $1 million increase, we believe that the teachers will receive about $5,000 annually and be able to stay within the classroom. We need these teachers there to really be there not only for the students, but also for new teachers. Many of the new teachers who are, quite frankly, are now making, a sizable salary, average $47,000 now. They'll have an opportunity to really be able to have a number of experienced teachers to help them really understand how to, carry out a lot of the work. And those experienced teachers need that.
So I can certainly understand if your salary's $47,500, that's the minimum for a new teacher, and it's bumped up by $5,000. Okay, so that you feel that would make a difference. But let's talk about this. There's also this teacher shortage. We know in Duval County, more than 400 teaching positions as we start this new school year are unfilled at the moment. And it's not just a Northeast Florida problem. This is a national issue, right? So while other districts move ahead on a referendum like the one proposed here, why do you feel this is right for Jacksonville right now?
Well, we need a solution. We know that, quite frankly, if we pass this $1 million, that we'll be able to provide the teachers with what they need at this moment. And certainly it is an increase in salary. They've told us that this is a major reason why they're leaving. There are other reasons too, stress and things of that sort that obviously we're working to address as well. But this is one that we can take care of. It's a crisis. It's one that deserves our focus right now, and I believe it's one that the people in Jacksonville want to make certain they're taken care of.
So let's look at some of the details of what this would do if this proposal is passed on the 23rd, the proposed $1 million property tax increase. It would generate almost $82 million. Dr. Green saying 75% of that would go to staff and teacher salary increases. The rest, 12.5% each, that would be split between charter schools and then arts and athletics in the district. And as I understand it, Darnell, this is a property tax increase. It would have a 4-year term and then have to be voted on again. So it's not forever. Is that the case?
That is the case. And so this is one of those opportunities that gives us 4 years to take care of our teachers. Hopefully, we'll be able to find another solution by the 4-year term. And if not, obviously, we get an opportunity to bring it to the people again to look at this as a solution. But I think this gets us through the next 4 years.
City Councilman Rory Diamond, one of the folks who is outspoken as opposing this. He's saying that this isn't the right time to ask for more money. How would you answer that concern? Well,
Rory is a good friend, and I certainly understand that perspective and appreciate it, quite frankly. I know it's not easy for folks right now with a lot of the things that we're certainly dealing with from an economy standpoint. This is also an issue, though, that we have to take advantage of. We have to do something about it. And if we have the opportunity to address this and provide a solution for our teachers, certainly for our children, to be able to receive the appropriate focus from experienced teachers, I think we want to take care of that. I realize it's not an ideal situation, but this is a crisis, and when you're faced with two, you deal with the one that you really believe and that you have the most passion in bringing to resolution, and this is one we must handle.
Darnell Smith, one of the other points of contention or opposition is to say, hey, why do only homeowners, property owners in this case, have to pay for this? A lot of people who own homes, their kids are out of school and what have you. A lot of people with kids aren't paying property taxes.
Well, I think that's a great question, and I would tell you, when we look at the fact that we have the talent that's available for many of the companies here, quite frankly, we all benefit. And so whatever your service may be that you go out in the community and receive, whether you enjoy the fact that we have amazing firefighters and amazing police officers and all of those things, those were once children. And you're quite frankly having an opportunity to make certain that one of these days you're helping an individual who is going to have an excellent teacher be able to get him or her through school, and they're going to serve you in other capacities. And I believe that it is the right thing to do. We all win by allowing our children to be able to have access to the best education and care possible. And for that reason, I think it's all of our issues, regardless of whether or not you have a student in school right now or not.
So very interesting. You just gave the long view. That's a long view. And it's tough sometimes to look at that when you're saying, hey, right now I'm hurting because the economy, because of inflation, because all of these sorts of things.
Yeah.
And let me ask about some of the pain right here. Dr. Green, we talked to her recently, and she gave a salary comparison based on higher starting wages for teachers in Florida.
Yeah.
She said a teacher with 17 days experience makes $47,500. Yeah. A teacher with 17 years experience makes only about $1,000 more.
Yeah.
Is the district that far behind on wage adjustments for veteran teachers?
Well, it appears that that is an opportunity that must be addressed, and it is one that is causing many teachers to literally post on their LinkedIn that they are in search of another profession. I just spoke to a veteran teacher of 30 years about a week ago, and it was heartbreaking, and she was literally almost in tears, because for her, she knows that this is really important. She loves the profession, but she feels undervalued. And I think if $5,000 will demonstrate to her that we absolutely value her and all of her colleagues, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And when you think about the cost, it's $1 for every $1,000 of value of your home, minus the $25,000 homestead, if that actually applies. And so for a $300,000 home, that would be roughly $275 per year, or roughly $23 per month. And so we think it's doable. We know it's not ideal for a number of homeowners, but listen, this is an ideal. We have a really good education system and district, and we want to retain that, and we want to make it better. And I think having experienced teachers in the classroom is one way to do that.
Darnell Smith, appreciate your time today. Great to hear from you again.
Thank you.
Well, shifting focus to the election of a new sheriff in Duval County. Political analyst Rick Mullaney is with us, and we review the recent debate on Channel 4. That's next on This Week in Jacksonville.
Kyan Michael and Lake Ray, two liberal politicians trying to hide it. Michael was an Obama-Biden Democrat, and Ray voted like one, supporting Charlie Crist's taxes and a Green New Deal to increase energy prices. Michael and Ray's campaigns are even being funded by Democrats and pro-abortion politicians. Kyan Michael and Lake Ray, two downtown liberals we don't need. The conservative outsider Chet Stokes is a businessman, family man, and will fight for our values.
You never know when an accident will happen, but one thing's for sure, you can call us anytime, day or night, 24/7. Farah and Farah.
GMC Sierra. Premium and capable. That's professional grade. Step up to GMC with 0% financing on Sierra models. We are professional grade GMC.
Where do you turn to when it's time for back to school?
The morning show, of course.
We know parents are anxious about the new year.
We've got your back, taking a look at new security upgrades at local schools.
What's being done to attract more teachers?
Plus all the changes inside and outside the classroom.
Find out if your child's school makes the grade this week, only on The Morning Show.
John Rutherford is fighting for Northeast Florida and getting the job done. He'll work to lower inflation and fight high energy prices by ensuring we make America energy independent again. Rutherford will help our economy grow by bringing our manufacturing jobs back from China and ensuring we buy American. Rutherford will always back our law enforcement and combat illegal immigration by securing our southern border. John Rutherford gets results.
I'm John Rutherford, and I approve this message.
I was driving home from practice, and I remember seeing this car coming right towards me, and a huge, loud... I knew with my injuries that I wasn't going to be able to play. Having my career cut short by a drunk driver was the worst part of my life. I knew if there was, one firm to get me justice and to get me compensated for that, it was going to be Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan has definitely really helped me in the toughest, darkest moments of my life. Those guys were there for me. I'm Chandler Parsons, and I chose Morgan & Morgan.
When it comes to keeping you informed, the sky is the limit.
A live look from our tower cam.
News 4 Jax, empowering you with a county-by-county network of 15 aerial cameras, showing you this.
Traffic in both directions.
So you can avoid seeing this. Built for the elements. So you can see threats from miles away. A window to the world on all your screens. The News 4 Jax Skycam Network. You're watching This Week in Jacksonville with Kent Justice.
And joining us now, Rick Mullaney, Director of the Public Policy Institute at Jacksonville University. So we held a debate this week for the Jacksonville Sheriff's candidates. Rick, this pretty important event this week, specifically for the voters and these candidates.
No mistake about that, Kent. The leadership of the Sheriff's Office hangs in the balance. Remember, whoever wins this will be well positioned to lead for years to come. What you're going to see is the winner will finish out the unexpired term of Mike Williams, but also have the opportunity to serve 2 more terms. So the leadership hangs in the balance. Very important for these candidates. The election is a week from Tuesday. This happened pretty quickly because of the special election. It changed it to a sprint rather than a marathon. They want to get their voice out. They want to get their message out. This debate was the best way to do that, so this was a significant debate.
Hour-long debate that we try to give them as many opportunities to speak about. So let's look at some of the, we'll call them key moments in this. Wayne Clark, he spoke about his leadership experience, especially concerning that large budget that a sheriff has to manage in Jacksonville.
During my time with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office as Chief of Patrol West, I was over 580 officers, about $125 million of the Sheriff's Office budget at that time for our patrol division. And when I was at the airport, I had a $5 million budget that I managed, and I was chief of the airport. And when I was the chief of the school police department, we had about a $12 million budget that we budgeted for everything from the officers, their equipment, their uniforms, contracts, the whole 9 yards.
All right, why did Wayne Clark stand out to you in this particular instance?
Well, first of all, I thought all the candidates did really well, and I mean that sincerely, and they needed to accomplish different things in this debate. For Wayne Clark, I think he may very well have been the surprise of the debate, and by that I mean he was less well known. It was the first introduction to him by many, and he has big stature, he spoke well, and that's a good example, that illustration of what he tried to emphasize. His many years of experience at the Sheriff's Office, also at the airport, at the school board, the different budgets that he's managed. So overall, on balance, a good night for Wayne Clark.
Yeah. T.K. Waters, he spoke on a couple of occasions about the number of officers compared to the number of citizens. So I want to show you now his response on the question about JSO's budget and staffing levels.
We should be operating with about 2.5 police officers per 1,000 people. We are operating with about 1.98. We're severely short. So we need to build that up. There have been enough new people that move in Jacksonville that it probably, we'd have to look at it, we've got to study it, but it shouldn't cost as much to increase that number utilizing the new folks that come in and live in Jacksonville. So there's some plans there to look at that, to be able to look at that and do that.
You told me that this is one of a few sections that you thought Waters offered some insight.
This is a snippet that illustrates one of the areas in which I thought he stood out, and that is on substance. For T.K. Waters, the data, the knowledge, the process was evident in his debate. In fact, of all the candidates, I think this was a real strength with substance. He's not as animated as some, but if you look at the numbers, he talks about the number of officers per capita. He talked about the number of shootings. He talked about the process in shootings with Melissa Nelson and the medical examiner. He talked about being the head of, for 10 years, looking over those homicides and shootings. I thought it was a good night for him on the substance in particular, looking to demonstrating his knowledge and command of what's going on at the sheriff's office and in the community.
Dr. Tony Cummings running for this office. We've seen him on stage before this time. So it's really setting himself apart in calling for a public accountability office inside JSO and saying he's in favor of civilian review boards.
Now, if you watch that 9 minutes and 29-second video of a law enforcement officer, the person that's supposed to protect and serve, killed George Floyd, and you don't support reform inside the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office or a law enforcement body, then there's something wrong. You shouldn't be on this stage, folks. So when we're talking about transparency, we're not talking about going to one person. We tried that before. We're talking about putting the public, a body of your peers, inside that sheriff's office to help guide the sheriff and his administration in the right direction with your tax dollars.
Rick Cummings did set himself apart here. And why do you think he took what I guess we would say an assertive tone in here, the most of the 5 candidates? Right?
Yeah, if I was to try to come up with a little bit of label, I would say assertive, the most provocative, and he took the most risk. In part, he's a little bit behind, but also his ideas were provocative, and he got the attention of many with his ideas. For example, the Civilian Review Board is not something shared by everybody in this debate. He also had the Accountability Board was different. He also was one of the few to actually call out other people on the stage by name. Often you'll see that, of course. He had a reason for doing that, but part of it is he needs the public to remember him. He is a little bit behind. He also wanted to go where those votes were. So for Tony Cummings, this was an instance in which he could afford to take some risk. He could be more provocative, and he did both of those.
So Lakeisha Burton, among the key moments for her was responding to the topic of improving race relations. She leaned into her experience following the death of George Floyd in 2020.
Right now, we have 2 cities in one. And you can, if you have a leader, they have to be bold enough to speak the truth. The truth of the matter is there are communities all over our city that has a distrust for the police. That's unacceptable, and we have to address it. So racial issues, we do have racial issues, and we have to address it. After the murder of George Floyd, my eyes were wide open when my administration wouldn't talk about those tough conversations regarding race. When we had that protest, I'm the only candidate that was on the front lines with the troops protecting our city.
Rick, do you think Lakeisha Burton delivered some compelling arguments in this section?
One of the reasons why I think this is important, this is a good example of being responsive to the question. And during the evening, whether it's on gun control issues and gun violence and other police reform, not a lot of responsiveness across the board, but this was an example for her, very responsive. She connected with the audience really well. Overall, she was a candidate who stayed on message. I think one of the criticisms might be a little bit too much on message because somewhat repetitious at times, but overall she showed great energy. She could connect well. This is an example of being responsive to the question and I think connecting pretty well.
Yeah, each of the candidates really were pretty passionate when it came to this topic of race that we engaged there. And Ken Jefferson used his personal story to talk about his approach, if he's elected, to race relations.
And according to accreditation, it requires that your sheriff's office looks like the community that you serve, diverse, inclusive, and all of the above. And one of the major things it talks about is transparency. As your sheriff, I will ensure that you're treated fairly and equally under the law, no matter what zip code you live in. I come from the other side of the tracks. I grew up in Washington Heights. I lived in the back of a station wagon eating bologna sandwiches for dinner. I understand the plight of certain groups of people, and I can address it as your sheriff.
Rick Jefferson seemed to show some of his experience there in front of an audience and in front of a camera.
He did a couple comments. One, like you're saying, Kent, communications when he was at the sheriff's office, but also here at Channel 4. That's a good example, but throughout the debate, he showed good communication skills and command of the podium. But in addition, in this segment, what he also showed was empathy, understanding. He was also responsive to the question. This was a good moment for him, and I think he had a few good moments during this debate.
Yeah, so if you missed the debate, we want you to be able to watch the entire hour. You can do that on the Editor's Choice channel on News4Jax Plus. It's a free app for smart TVs. You just search News4Jax on your TV, you download the app, and then scroll to Editor's Choice to watch. And then we'll continue updating you on our website, news4jax.com, as we move toward that election coming up just a week from Tuesday. All right, so Rick is staying with us, and then we're going to circle back to the school board referendum in Duval County. That's next on This Week in Jacksonville.
When you've been injured by a careless driver, hurt on the job, or suffered from medical malpractice, accept no substitute. Farah & Farah, protecting you and your family since 1979.
What was that?
Nothing. Gorilla Super Glue.
Brush for edge-to-edge coverage and nozzle for precise application all in one. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
This week at Macy's, get set for back to school with great deals on active looks and jeans for every unique style, plus an extra 20% off at Macy's.
Joe Biden's socialist agenda led to woke madness, rising crime, and out-of-control gas prices. But thanks to conservative fighters like Aaron Bean, Florida is showing America how to beat the left. Aaron Bean stood with Governor DeSantis to protect the sanctity of life, support our police, and cut taxes to provide relief from inflation. Aaron Bean, the conservative fighter Florida needs in Congress. American Dream Federal Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The First Coast Heart Walk is back. Come to the Jacksonville Fairgrounds on September 10th and encourage family and friends to join you. Let's get moving to defeat the #1 killer of men and women here in the U.S. Register today or make a donation at firstcoastheartwalk.org.
Important health announcement regarding Camp Lejeune.
If you or someone you know spent time at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina prior to 1988 and developed any of these cancers or suffered any of these injuries, you may be eligible for significant financial compensation. Call Camp Lejeune victims to discuss your case now.
Leaking underground tanks contaminated the drinking water with benzene and other highly carcinogenic chemicals, up to 280 times acceptable levels in some instances.
There have been numerous reported cases of exposed personnel developing cancer and other serious health conditions. It is critical to take action and call Camp Lejeune victims now.
If you or someone you know spent time at Camp Lejeune before 1988 and you developed any of these cancers or injuries, call to determine your eligibility for financial compensation now. If you don't win, you pay nothing.
Call 800-820-8836. That's 800-820-8836.
For TK Waters, serving others and giving back is a way of life. A husband, father, grandfather, and leader, TK shares our community values. With more than 30 years as a police officer, detective-in-chief, TK is the most experienced candidate for sheriff. He'll add officers to the street, foster greater trust through transparency and open communication, and ensure taxpayer money is always spent wisely. TK Waters, the trusted, experienced leader we need for sheriff.
You're watching This Week in Jacksonville on Channel 4.
All right, Public Policy Institute Director Rick Mullaney is with us. Rick, I want to circle back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. There's a school board referendum on the ballot here. Lots of public support for the teachers and their need for higher pay, but there's still a question of whether or not there's voter support for increasing taxes. What do you think about this referendum, the $1 million increase?
A couple comments. First, Kent, it's amazing how the climate has changed, and the public has been very willing in the last couple years to support tax increases for worthwhile causes, and you've seen that. In 2020, there was a half-cent sales tax by the school district for $1.9 billion to invest in infrastructure and facilities for the schools. Last year, in 2021, you saw a 6-cent increase in the gas tax to support $1 billion worth of infrastructure. This year, coming back to the well for another referendum and a property tax increase of $1 million, I think the timing is a challenge. The people of Jacksonville have shown that when it's compelling, when it's education, when it's infrastructure, property taxes for public safety, those are sort of the big three, they're willing to support it. But I do think there is a challenge here because of the backdrop of recent taxes and, of course, the big issue, which is inflation, and how hard it is for families to make ends meet, and how their purchasing power has decreased. While inflation has gone up significantly and there have been some wage increases, those wage increases aren't keeping up with inflation. That's a challenge for families across the country. That's a challenge for families in Duval County, and therefore it is a problem.
You know, Rick, as we watched a couple of years ago when there was a move for, hey, we need an investment from the public, a tax increase really, because we've got crumbling infrastructure. We've got buildings that are no good. They're 100 years old in the school district. Is that a different argument that was made then? Is it less compelling now to say we need higher wages? I don't think the merit of the argument is the issue. It's, as you point out, maybe the timing.
The merit is strong. In fact, I don't think there's any better investment we can make in public education. And I say that on a personal level as someone who's...
Tell your story. Your mother, right?
Well, my mother never went to college, and she was an immigrant, didn't learn to speak English until grade school, but when the schools became disaccredited in '64, she went to work to pull us out of public schools. West Connect put us in Sacred Heart. She ingrained in all of us the importance of public education, the importance of education, and the half-cent sales tax that was passed, to the credit of the superintendent and the entire community, the case was made that this is an important investment. And the timing was right. Last year, Nat Ford and the JTA took the lead, but the whole community came together in passing 6 cents for the gas tax, a $1 billion investment in infrastructure. The world has changed, however, over the last couple of years. Not just the pandemic, the economy has changed. Inflation is here. Uncertainty is here. Now you're going back to something that's very compelling, which is teacher salaries. We do have a shortage of teachers. They are underpaid. You have seen Governor DeSantis increase that minimum salary for starting teachers, but there is a challenge here. Now, this is only for 4 years. It has to be approved. But I do think in terms of the recent tax increases and inflation, this is a much harder sell than the past tax increases. And while the cause is compelling, I think this is more challenging.
30 seconds. Is it crazy, like City Councilman Rory Diamond said, to even go to the voters and ask for this, given the circumstances right now?
Given the importance of public education in the future of our city, I don't think it's crazy. I do think it's challenging, and I do think it will be a heavy lift given the backdrop of what we just discussed.
Yeah. Rick, I appreciate the insights there, and we'll see what happens on August 23rd as this referendum is on the ballot. Thank you for your time. All right, so 3 terrific guests lined up for next week on the show. Governor's candidate Charlie Crist, Congressman Michael Waltz, and new UNF President Moaz Lamayan. This Week in Jacksonville airs each Sunday morning at this time. I'm Cat Justice. Thank you so much for watching on air on Channel 4. You can also see us on the CW17 at noon on Sundays. And you'll find us online at news4jax.com or streaming on News 4 Jax Plus.
Every day, more people are choosing News 4 Jax, Northeast Florida and South Georgia's #1 source for local news.